everybody, happy Tuesday. Today I thought I would share a little short antidote with you about something I haven't really talked about before when it comes to my chronic migraine life. Now, often our chats are very intense and very serious. I'm trying to educate people. I'm trying to teach you. I'm trying to give you the best advice that I have learned over my 10 plus years living with chronic migraines and invisible illnesses, and really want to communicate things that will help you in your struggles and maybe learn lessons that it took me a really long time to learn and save you some much anguish and give you peace. But a lot of that involves tears and sadness and maybe hard to watch. So maybe you'll find this funny and will lighten our load for today. So I've mentioned before with my chronic migraines that I have the ability to predict weather better than the best computers, the best weathermen out there, simply because I am very, very sensitive to barometric pressure and humidity in the air. I'm always with people in my life, whether they have a runny nose or a stuffy nose or experiencing different kinds of headaches, regular headaches, or sinus, they can't figure out why all of a sudden they have these symptoms. And I simply point out the humidity is too high in the air. My body is very sensitive to it. I feel it not just in my head, but all over my body. It comes about in different ways. And so usually I check my Echo Dot, and I won't say her name because she was still listening to our conversation. And sure enough, the weather is, the humidity is 100% or whatever it is. I am so sensitive that once it hits about 60, 65, even with my Botox, I can feel the humidity in the air. I get instant pain in my head. I don't feel right. I feel like passing out. Something is wrong. But I feel like that's amateur hour. Anybody with any kind of neurological disease can predict that kind of stuff, and even, I guess certainly non-ill people maybe. I have the ability to smell smoke, fire from a 5-mile radius, long before you'll hear the engines driving down your block or wherever they're off to. But I feel like that's amateur hour. I have real special powers, and that's the one I want to tell you about today. So a couple of weeks ago, it was a Saturday night, and I hadn't made dinner, and it was one of those days when you're just doing things or not feeling like doing anything, but then you're hungry. So I decided I was just going to make myself some eggs. But because I still have a need to be fancy and I really love cooking and making things better, I decided to make a flauta, which is really like a corn or a flour. I had tortilla. I used eggs. I had a little bit of ricotta cheese left over, and I seasoned them really deliciously. I rolled them all up. I scrambled the egg. I cooked it a little bit, seasoned it, rolled it in the flour tortilla, and put it in the oven just to bake so that the tortillas would get a little crunchy. It was like a 10-minute process. But from the time that I cracked the egg and scrambled it and put it in the oven, I felt this odor. Now, to be clear, it wasn't a rotten egg odor. It wasn't an odor that something had gone bad. It was a very, very faint odor. But it persisted. Now, I will pause my story because it's important that you note here that there are certain times, my neurologist can't explain it, but I know my body, and it has to be because of my migraine brain. I can want something to eat. Make it, but the smell of it cooking, even though nothing is spoiled, everything is fine, once it's to me, I can't even touch it. This happens mostly with eggs, and I find the smell of like hamburgers being cooked on the stovetop, can't do it. Cannot do it. Even though I want the eggs and I'm excited and starving or whatever it is, the smell. Like, I actually have to put hot sauce sometimes on something, either because the smell changes, you smell the spice, or like literally hold my nose. And then once I've tasted it and I enjoy what I'm tasting, sometimes that feeling passes. Sometimes I have to throw my food in the garbage. It doesn't happen very often, but it's random. And I know that it's connected to my migraine brain somehow. I liken it to what I assume pregnant women feel like, that certain smells bother them that didn't bother them before, or taste or something. Something about the sensories. So my senses are always heightened. My migraine brain is always on the lookout for danger, trouble, I don't know, very, very nosy. Anyway, so my eggs are cooking. The whole while, it's bothering me. I go into the refrigerator and take out the carton that has the remaining, batch of eggs that I didn't use. And I put one up to my nose. And it smells to me. Again, not a rotted smell, very faint smell, but huffing all over it doesn't seem right to me. I digress. The eggs come out of the oven. I plate them up. I cut them open to take a photo, of course, and hand one to my mother because now, although she didn't want to have one, she loves the way they smell and look. She eats it. It's delicious. Can't get enough. I put one to my mouth. I take a bite. I spit it out. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. I know my cheese isn't rotted. I know my eggs aren't rotted. I've checked dates. They didn't curdle. All the things. They're not rotted. I put a little hot sauce on some more and get myself to eat just a little bit because at this point now I have to eat. But then I throw the rest out. I can't get them down. Okay, fine. I chalk it up to my normal, whatever sight, smell, sensitivity thing. I don't even know what I did after that. Maybe I ate cereal or nothing. God knows. The next day, I had folks over for brunch. My mother goes to make scrambled eggs. And when she cracks it, she goes, I do see what you mean. I smell something. I effing knew it. We throw the entire carton out because when she starts to smell the actual eggs, at this point now she's starting to smell them. And I start swearing like a sailor, which is typical for me. And I knew it. I scream, I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. I am always right. I should trust myself. This happens fairly often that I say these sentences because it's true. I always know when something is rotten before that it is. It's happened before. It's happened with chicken. It's happened with milk. It's happened with, almost anything you can think of. And the average person insists that it's fine. It tastes fine, it smells fine, it looks fine, all of the things. The date on the eggs were still like another week out. But they were starting to rot. And we threw them out. No one at brunch got sick because we didn't cook them. It was fine. But now, every time we buy eggs, I am in charge of smelling them. Which sounds sick, I know. And maybe not amusing to you. But it amuses me. Before we started talking this morning, I actually went and smelled the new carton of eggs I had because after this I will most likely be making myself an egg white omelet with some avocado toast. And I just can't, my brain never ceases to amaze me, I suppose. My superpowers are stronger than I even know. And no one can explain it, and it's fascinating to me. So not all of the things that come with having a chronic migraine life are bad or serious. Sometimes they really help you out. It stops you from eating spoiled food or rotten eggs or serving them to your loved ones. So I just thought I would really share that with you because it's not a story you hear a lot, and I'm impressed with myself today. So do with that as you will. So now you know just a little bit more about what it's like to be me. Until next time, guys.